Okay. I think we've just moved into afternoon, so good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for giving SMR the opportunity to join in your wonderful conference. This year is the 75th anniversary for SMR, and it's the 30th anniversary for MRSI. SMR and MRSI have been closely connected over those 30 years. And the initial connection, of course, with MRSI was with the Code of Conduct. That was the International Code of Conduct that SMR set up many, many years ago. And your Code of Conduct more or less follows the SMR Code of Conduct these days. I think most of you are quite aware of SMR, but of course it's the peak body for market research around the world, with 8,000 odd members, and in fact in India we have nearly 600 members, so one of the largest groups of SMR members. So MRSI and SMR get together, will cooperate in many ways. Of course, we've always had members from MRSA on the board of SMR. And we have two members here at the moment, Praveen and Priya, who are the SMR representatives for India. This year, we had a bit of an upset, and Mr. Sekar stepped in as the president for SMR globally, so a very, very big thank you for stepping in to do that. We had a little bit of an upset in management, and he took over that management for 6 months. So we cooperate, as I say, in many ways, including International Market Research Day, training, and one of the things that we realized some years ago, and this has been the discussion pretty much this morning, we have lots of young people in our profession, but keeping them, as the speakers have been talking about this morning, has been not so easy. And one of the things what we decided to do was to try and showcase what the young people are doing. They're often working in the background, doing all the hard work, but they're not out there showing their skills. So we set up a program called Research Got Talent, and in India you call it the Community Project. And this was set up to help showcase young people. The idea is that young people in the industry will choose an NGO and help them with their strategy. Not just raising money, but helping them with their strategy. And this program has been going on now 4 or 5 years, first set up jointly with Hong Kong and India. And it's been a successful program. And this year we had the finalists from many different countries: Argentina, Australia, Peru, Canada, Russia, and of course India. And the NGOs that they chose were very, very different. So in Peru, there were the winners of the program there did a study on cleaning up beaches, because apparently all the rubbish in the Pacific ends up in Peru for one reason or another. In Russia, they were trying to work out how to get young people to give blood, donate blood. Australia, it was all about helping young homeless people. In Canada, it was about helping young black ladies who were regarded as always being older than their actual age. And there were a few others like that. So this is a global competition, and they are the 6 finalists that I've just mentioned. And what I'd like to do now is hand over to our team here in India, and they'll tell us about how it worked for them, because it's not an easy thing to do, what you did, and then the young team themselves will tell us exactly what they did and how they fared with the project. Over to you.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. So when we heard about the community program at Dragonfly, I personally was very, very excited, also quite inspired. I thought this is something very different from what, we have seen in the past. And this was actually something very novel,
Yes.
in a way, I thought, And there were two reasons why I thought this was something very, very different, very interesting. One is that whatever work I have done in the past, in my personal capacity, in any organization, in the social space, has always left a very lasting impression on me. So I recall doing some work for Pulse Polio, doing field work in Bihar, remember doing some work for UNDP with skilling livelihoods in Rajasthan, interviewing kumhars, weavers, etc. Currently at Dragonfly, we do work with ICS, the Indian Cancer Society, which is based in Bombay. So all these projects which we have done over the years, these have left a deep impression on me, and I remember, I remember my respondents, I remember everything about these projects. They don't blur in my mind, which sometimes other projects tend to, in that sense. So it's been very fulfilling, and I have always come out, knowing something which I didn't, before. And I thought that if there's an opportunity on similar lines, if somebody else in the team does something similar, it'll be really fulfilling. Your EQ, your empathy quotient only goes up. And I believe that to be a good qualitative researcher, you need to have very high EQ. I believe that very strongly. And this goes into it. Of course, the other thing which John spoke about, which Pardu spoke about this morning also, is about talent. It's about encouraging young people. And I think this is actually, walking the talk. Mm-hmm. It's actually doing something very substantial in this space. And many more such initiatives would be welcome. It doesn't have to be always SMR, MRSI, individual companies. What I heard Kantar talk about, the HR paper, I think, and of course Unilever as well. I think this is actually all of that put together. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for our younger researchers to showcase their talent at an India level first, and then of course, at a global platform as well. So I think it's a great initiative, and I would really want to thank SOMAR for this. In terms of execution, in terms of, what were the challenges, I wouldn't say there were any major challenges. Of course, you have to commit a lot of time to something like this, and it's not like a project that, you're billing or something. So that's where I would say that Aparajita and Sachi actually took it on themselves. I think there were so many weekends. So that passion has to come from them, and which it did, absolutely. And I think it's been a very rewarding journey for them. And I have seen them do it entirely from the very beginning. They chose the NGO, they did all the field work, they put in everything. And now we are just waiting for the final results.
Yes, so hi everyone. So I'm sure all of us agree that, we as market researchers get so caught up with the hectic routine of finishing one project after the other, writing one debrief after the other, that we don't really get time to think beyond that as such. So when we actually heard about the community program through Madhulika and through MRSI, we were very thrilled. And we are grateful to ISOMAR and MRSI for this particular platform, because it gave us the opportunity to really think about the community, do something for the community via our work. So using our expertise to do something, for others. And the theme which we picked up was upliftment of the disadvantaged communities. And we identified this particular NGO called Human Welfare Charitable Trust, which essentially works towards upliftment of the disadvantaged. And they have also started work towards the betterment of migrant communities in rural Maharashtra. So that's what they have started with. And we partnered very closely with Mr. Kalpesh Kabra, who is the founder of this NGO. And honestly, hats off to him. He has really supported us through this entire journey, and he is definitely very instrumental to the success of our project as well.
Actually, we started this journey in the month of May, and over the last 5-6 months, it's come to occupy a very special place in our life. And obviously, through this journey, we had the support and guidance of Madhulika.
But I must mention, I think COVID, falling sick, all of that has happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like working with Sachi, we worked together as a team, and that was the most exciting part, I think. And it's truly been a fulfilling experience because we also realized how powerful qualitative research can be, like it kind of just goes beyond meeting the objectives of a brand. It can have a lasting impact on the lives of the people. And to showcase our work, we made a 10-minute long video, and we would actually want to show you a small snippet of that video, just to give you an idea as to what our project was all about. So we'd just like to play it for all of you.
Yes, and we'll step aside so that we don't block your view.
Internal labour migration is an overwhelming reality that defines India's developmental landscape. Migrants are often disregarded by the privileged locals and are not given their due credit. Unfortunately, it took a pandemic for India to appreciate the quiet grit and contribution of the migrant workers in building the country. They are excluded, unemployed, live in poor conditions and undergo emotional stress. Still, millions leave their villages and flock towards cities like Mumbai, which have better job opportunities.
In many cases, the men are joined by their family in the city. However, the exorbitant cost of living in Mumbai compels one to live away from the city in neighbouring suburbs.
One such example of the abode for migrants is Naigaon. It is here that Human Welfare Charitable Trust intends to develop a centre for the community. HWCT India Foundation, spearheaded by Kalpesh Kabra, is a 7-year-old organisation. The challenge of the NGO is to identify how it can empower the people of Naigaon. Before designing the programme, it's important to understand the people and its community, and this is where qualitative research comes into play. But the key question was, who do we talk to?
Women became the focus of our study as we realized there is a need to empower the woman to empower the community, and this is where HWCT can play a significant role.
We approached it from a macro lens for community understanding and a micro lens to understand the people. We started with a community tour to get a macro perspective of Naigaon and spoke to experts across different fields. We interacted with the beneficiaries to get a micro perspective of their life.
Due to her restricted mind, she lacks a sense of self and is unable to be self-reliant in difficult circumstances. And being self-reliant is not high on her priority list as she is consumed by multiple pertinent issues.
With respect to work for women, there are multiple barriers such as low awareness, low willingness to step out of the house, and the constant worry about log kya kahenge. Some women are doing irregular work like fixing small stones on jewelry pieces. However, the working condition is not favourable. It is strenuous and low paying, which is why most women feel it is not worth their time. Due to low earnings and high expenditure, they are unable to save much money. And whatever little money is saved inevitably gets spent. Hence, financial management really takes a backseat for the community because they are so caught up with their current financial instability.
The woman's point of view towards solving these issues observes more of a laddered approach, wherein she feels better education of a child will lead to more income in future, will be able to save for a secure and better life, and can then think of doing something for herself. However, our recommendation is to reverse the thought process by skilling the woman. It's important to make her see the domino effect, because skilling leads to work opportunities, which brings in money, leads to savings, financial management, and ultimately changes her outlook towards life. HWCT must focus on making women self-reliant through skilling and financial management, as the two are interlinked.
It can change her life by making her independent, confident, and capable, and it can also have an impact on the lives around her. The NGO must focus on skilling the women and providing them with employment opportunities.
Given the huge dropout rates usually seen in skilling programs, certain things must be kept in mind to design the program well. Uplift the group and not individual women, as she does not want to stand out as a hero but wants to conform. Use engaging learning methods such as storytelling. Make the program almost like a ritual for her with some flexibility. Incentivize her to make it seem worth her while and tie up with entities to bring in work opportunities.
However, earning money is not enough. HWCT can help her manage money by improving her financial literacy.
The NGO can position the center as the shelter of love, a safe space for the migrant community of Naigaon.
We discussed the recommendations with HWCT and basis our findings, the plan going forward is
Our short-term plan is to start the skill sector for the women and then extend it to the youth. There has been a new learning for us with the need of the financial literacy, which we would like to plan going forward.
While this is a study conducted in Naigaon, the qualitative approach towards understanding migrants' challenges holds relevance for other states in India. The first step can be to focus on migrant hubs in Maharashtra, after which it can be scaled up to a pan-India exercise. This project has been extremely special in our career as researchers, and we believe it will stay with us for a long time to come. This entire journey has been transformational for the NGO and for us as individuals. The conversations we had with the migrants of Naigaon made us privy to their challenges and has improved our empathy quotient.
It has also made us realize the power of qualitative research in bringing about a positive impact on the lives of the disadvantaged. Migrants play an indispensable role in the efficient functioning of a city. Their contribution must be recognized, and this research is a small step towards empowering them.
So, congratulations to the team winning in India. But I should also mention that 4 or 5 other companies also put in a lot of effort. And while I wasn't one of the judges, I understand their efforts were also fantastic. And that's Brandscapes and, of course, Dragonfly. What is it? Datanese, Nielsen IQ, and Ipsos were some of the other companies that participated. So thank you very much to them. The results, the global results, will be announced, I think, next week. And all of the 6 finalists are going to be showcased on the SMR website. I think you're next week also, along with Australia. Yeah. 2 very famous cricketing nations together. Which reminds me, usually I time my visits to India when Australia was playing India, but they're down in Australia at the moment, I think. So thank you very much for participating. And just to remind you, this is to showcase young people. That's what we've been talking about nearly all morning. But at the same time, give young researchers giving back to society and to the NGOs. And of all these finalists, they set strategy, important strategy for these NGOs. We will be calling for the nominations for next year. This will start very soon, I think early next year. Natalie? Yes. So looking forward to more companies participating next year. So congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.